input everything manually, it's great.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, and I'm just like, I want to make this whole process like easier for you guys instead of more difficult. And like Quinn said, Quinn plays on a laptop, and I'm just like, okay, that's gonna be like not even like time consuming, but it gets kind of probably annoying after a while. Of just okay, we're staring at this one screen. Okay, do this. Got to switch over to another thing. Do this roll. Got to wait for it all to catch up. Okay, well this is going on. Just wait for that. Wait for that. Wait. And now it's lagged out because I haven't actually interacted with this screen for very long. So it's just like if you guys are gonna be on roll 20 for the most part, feel free. Roll on roll 20. Uh, like I said, for her, she doesn't spend much time on roll 20. She's welcome to use D&D Beyond. Just whichever works better for you or whichever one you guys enjoy doing more. I have eyes on both screens, so I can just watch for whichever screen you're rolling on, and we'll go with that. So, like, if you're feeling some bad juju from one, that was all leading up to this. If you feel like one is rolling oddly, I will let you switch over to the other one for the remainder of the session, but and redo that roll the one time. But it's one of those things of if we all notice like you keep getting eights over and over and over and over, I'm like, yeah.
8, 8, 8, 8, 8.
I was like, yeah, we could switch over to like that's one of the things I've been trying to like fine tune in my head. And just didn't really know like how to I didn't want to like push like okay, everything's on D&D Beyond or everything is on Roll 20 because the wife seems to enjoy using D&D Beyond. You guys use Roll 20, D&D Beyond mix and change, like it's just whatever your preference is, let me know and go with it. And if you feel like you want to switch over to the other one, switch over to the other one.
Yep, it's probably the best way to do it.
And I will, however, continue using D&D Beyond on my side for roles on like the side roles that I have for other things. Just because I am pretty sure at some point or another I will fuck something up, and a role that was meant to be hidden will not be hidden, or just anything else. And also for the sake of stream, seeing my god awful typing and rolling. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to bring up now that all of you are here, uh, from the start of this campaign up until now, I know I stopped asking outright, but after each session, if you guys have any ideas regarding what you would like to see more of, what you would like to see less of, any tips or ideas you might have for like the campaign for your character, for items, for a possible quest or an idea, like any input and feedback, just give it to me. Like positive, negative, I need everything of it because that's how I see that I can improve and what I need to work on changing or adapting is by listening to your guys' feedback of both positive and negative. So do not be afraid to give me feedback, please. In fact, I invite it.
Don't worry, I'm not afraid.
He's not afraid, now I'm afraid.
It's okay. I have no problem telling people if they fuck up or if you're doing okay. Equal measures.
But yeah, like
I
anything,
never got that courtesy.
yeah, but like anything you guys think of, and again, it doesn't even have to be just like, oh well, you could do this better, or you can add more of this. Just an idea, like
Ooh, because we're
yeah,
talking about ideas. Because we're talking about ideas. This isn't so much like you can improve here. This is more about the actual campaign thing. Because I did this with Justin and my character. Since we've been playing for a while now, we've all agreed Samson is basically a person. Can Samson be turned into a sidekick? So in Tasha's Cauldron and everything, they came up with a sidekick mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically the side. This helps for DMs when it comes to balancing encounters as well. Is you can turn almost any NPC you come across into a sidekick, and that lets either the DM or the player, depending on the DM, control the character and have a sidekick, which counts as half of a character. And the main reason for it is because with a lot of NPCs, especially when the journey first starts out, if you do get an NPC to follow you, they are an NPC. Therefore, they have poor health, meaning if they journey with adventurers, they will most
They're gonna
likely
need it.
die very, very quickly. One thing, one stray arrow from a kobold will murder them outright almost sometimes. The sidekick mechanic is so that you can have the your important NPC who's following you or your character's best friend or whoever comes with you come along and still have a chance to survive, because if they get turned into a sidekick, they now are the same level as your PC character, and they get hit die and everything like that, depending on their sidekick class.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mechanic to keep your NPCs alive, and also for when you may have a party that is short of a few members or not, like so the actual players are not there. This lets the DM run a psychic NPC, so swap out. So someone's not here, we'll have like the NPCs you've introduced can join in. But the thing is, the reason why there's the psychic one is so that you don't have to sit there and play a full. I have made this NPC into a player character, because player characters have all those
Yeah.
features. Psychics is a dumbed down version of that. So when the psychic that's a warrior, which is the class my dog is in Dressing's campaign, instead of having a bunch of shit like action surge, extra attack, and all that stuff, all the features of a warrior and a subclass, he's just what I think the first thing he gets is he crits on a 19 instead of a 20. Then he has second wind to keep him alive. And then now that we're level 6, so level 4 he improved. He got his improvement ASI, and now that we're level 6, he has extra attack. But that's it on his sheet. He doesn't have a bunch of different features you have to remember. This also helps a lot when it comes to the even more complicated classes, such as casters. This way, they just have the spells or something, or the rogues, instead of having a bunch of expertise and everything. I believe they get like helping hand or something like that.
Okay.
So in the interest of keeping Samson from not dying from a stray arrow, even though he's very magical, a normal arrow can murk him, because I just looked at his character sheet. Samson's got 5 health.
Yeah.
So no matter how resistant he is to magic, he will die the first spell that hits him.
Ah, yes. The stray kobold migration could only go wrong in one way.
Yeah, like that. You talked about that cobalt migration. If Samson was going to fail the strength check that was involved, he would have been crushed utterly. No chance of survival. He's got 5 health.
But yes, that actually sounded like a much more manageable way to include Samson. So I will say go ahead and yes.
On the boat. I have no clue if this is something D&D actually equipped it for. Like, I don't know if we're going to mention the sheet on D&D Beyond, and it can be a psychic sheet. I have no clue. But I know on roll 20, uh, it's very simple. He just Justin just gave me the sheet for roll 20, and he's a psychic.
Yes. If you are able to input it on Roll20 where you can see it and you can access it, go for it. Absolutely.
Manage extras. I love the fact that they have an extras sheet so that I can have a pet. It has battle pet familiar and all that stuff, which is really cool. Oh wait, no, there's a psychic one. On your adventures, the DM may reveal that you have befriended a special character called a psychic who joins the party. The DM will either tell you which type of psychic to use, or let you choose one. It's up to you and the DM to decide who controls the psychic in the party, filter using the psychic rules. Psychic. How do I do this? You're here. How do I do this? Aha! Okay.
Just put a
Sounds
little bit
good. Come on.
Arnold there. It's okay.
Look, I just watched Death Battle between Boba Fett and Predator. Leave me alone.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
You are one ugly motherfucker.
Come on, kill me. Do it. I'm here.
I'm here. Do it. Kill me.
Yep.
All right. And so as we start out, it is now 3 hours after the start of last session.
Woo!
I'm not even kidding.
Woo!
You guys made it an entire 3 hours later since last session started.
We made it 3 hours, and now 75% of the party is running off to say, "Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared."
Basically. Meanwhile, Elbrig's in his room. I don't got time for them damn kids. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Elbrig was headed off to his lesson with Devirus. That was
Wait,
the
did I
last
chicken?
part we had.
Is that the one I was with? Damn it! Let me customize it. You son of a bitch. Oh, here we go. That works. Never mind.
But yes, last we left off, Misted got her letter from Klee and had her horribly awkward interaction with Klee that left Klee with some very serious questions in her mind and deep concerns. Nomad proceeded to have a full-on mental breakdown down the annex that resulted in him almost getting cuddled by Eartham against Eartham's wishes. And Tyrrell did Tyrrell things. Yes. And Elbrick did many Elbrick things, including making sure Misted knew how to take care of a fucking egg. And post the sounds of two vehicles traveling slowly, just colliding into one another, Nomad began to make his way towards Sinfori, wherever she may be, in the hopes of perhaps some calming words, reassurance, understanding, who knows?
Assistance.
Tyrrell headed off to find Sinfori in the hopes of getting her to cast a remove curse upon him. Misted went to go find Sinfori because it's mom and she has questions. Meanwhile, Elbrig is not traumatized by any of the things you guys have had happen to you in the least bit and is off to his lesson with Devirus in the courtyard of the Cultural Ring. And that is just about where we left off last session. So, doing the math budget as I have, as I'm really good at paying the math budget now, guys. I promise I'm really good at paying the math budget. That would put Tyrrell really didn't do too much in the span of time of between everyone waking up and going about their business. I believe one of Tyrrell's first orders of business would be to go find Sinfori that morning. So Tyrrell would have been off to go find Sinfori about 2 hours prior to any of the rest of you. Misted had left to go visit Klee early in the morning. That conversation there took about an hour. So it would be Tyrrell, then Misted, and then Nomad spent probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours down there in the annex, looking around and having his wonderful visual trip, because that only goes well.
Incorrect.
Everything went fine. Everything went well. Nothing bad happens to the Kennedys.
Incorrect.
Meaning that Nomad seeking out Sinfori for guidance and assistance would be the last one going to go find her. So first off would be Tyrrell, followed by Misted about an hour later, and then Nomad about another hour, hour and a half after that. Elbrig got up in the morning, and hang on, trying to scratch my gray matter real quick. Elbrig, because unfortunately Quinn was not able to join us for all of last session. And in fact, he only popped in towards the end, unfortunately. But uh, Quinn had left me with a list of questions, tasks, and whatnot that Elbrig had been doing. First off, Elbrig had begun to ask around and check the maps and whatnot in their previous journey to find out how long it would take to take a trip down to Timberfall and back, which he, through understanding and discussion and just researching again, realized it would be roughly 4 days of travel to Timberfall and back. So it'd be 2 days there, 2 days back to make it to Timberfall. He acquired a few more alchemical ingredients from the local area under the pretense of performing more alchemy and growing his skill and capabilities, which successfully went off, producing the ability to make 2 new basic minor health potions, or potions of healing, sorry. He checked on Misted before she scuttled off to go find Klee, and double checked with her to make sure she knew how to take care of this dragon's egg that she has now been informed she has. Though I do not believe Elbrig was in the room for the revelation that it is in fact a dragon's egg.
Nope.
Elbrig also spent a little bit of time practicing some more of his spellcraft, his spell work, and transmuting spells to different kinds of effects and whatnot. And with that, Elbrig, I will have a question for you towards the end of this session, if you are okay with that.
Sure.
All right. And the last thing that Elbrig did before departing off to go find Devirus to start up his lesson again for the day is Elbrig asked around the Black Keep, even some of the what looks to be just those of scholarly attribute, perusing the upstairs library and whatnot, and just wondering about, and learned that there are 2 ways that Elbrig would be able to possibly learn a new language. That there is, in fact, a linguist that resides within the Black Keep, that their whole purpose is to translate any and all documents they come across and put them into common just so they can more easily be read. That this individual is currently out but should be returning prior to the start of the Festival of Saphiros. Saphiros. And that he is promptly to return before the Festival of Saphiros, as he has never missed a single one while he has been here. And that aside from him, there is in fact a course or a class or a lecture in the Sapphire Citadel that he would just need to go there and find out the time for this course, called the Study of Languages, which there's multiple of these courses based on the different languages and whatnot that will allow for Elbrig to sit on a few classes and possibly attain information of how to learn a new language. But that would be at the Sapphire Citadel. That Elbrig does in fact have limited access to these facilities. All that being said, having acquired this information, Elbrig then hopped aboard Samson and off he went to the cultural ring to then go and begin his lesson with Devirus. Huh. Okay. So, Tyrrell, as you are the first one that would be seeking out Sinfori, what would you like to do? I apologize for the long-winded of that, but I had to get to it.
Okay, so I'm the first one to find her.
You were the first one in the morning to be seeking her out.
Then I would go to where I know I can find her.
All right, and that would be.
Probably the keep, depending on the time of day.
I mean, you all reside in the keep. Your room is
No,
inside
yeah.
the Black Keep.
I'm just going to where her room is.
All right, so you were heading to the private quarters, the actual ruler's room, basically.
Yep.
All right, and as you approach, you are stopped by 4 different Night Fang members who just advise you don't take any further steps.
Well, this is just lovely.
It's the king and queen's private quarters. Do you think you just walk in?
I was gonna knock. Just here to see the queen at the moment.
You tell them that you're just here to see the queen?
Yeah, I told them I was gonna knock on the door. I just have come to seek the queen for a few moments.
And they'll just look at you and, well, you're not going to find her there. She's down in the throne room presiding over a hearing with the lawkeepers.
Uh, I wouldn't suppose any of you know how long those run for.
And they just look at each other. Not our business to know.
That's fair. Well, thank you very much for the information, and I shall now go find something else to do. And I just turn and walk away.
And you also do know where the throne room is. That is the room you were all in when you got, not really knighted,
Yeah.
but honored. It's
Yeah.
a really weird way to
I
say
just,
that.
I guess, go chill out there for now and wait for the proceedings to be done.
So you go to the throne room?
Yeah, just wait outside of it until they're done with that. Whatever it is.
Okay.
Proceedings with wallkeepers and words and not my cup of tea.
Alright. So you walk out and you see the throne room there. And the doors are obviously shut. And there are Night Fangs guarding the door, along with the scattered members of the Blood Onyx. And they'll just see you approach, and then just like plop against a wall and prop up, and they just look at each other and look at you very questioningly, but they do not move.
Even
I will allow
though
them to question.
You would just allow them to question.
Yes.
Alright. And as you are propping against the wall, you hear the familiar sounds of boot steps and
Oh,
the
God.
jovial voice of Oren Gaius as he makes his way into the Black Keep, the green coat fluttering as he goes, and he
Oh.
walks up, looks at you, gives a little tip of his head, turns on his heel, and immediately just pushes past the Night Fang, swings the doors open, and walks into the throne room.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And the doors shut behind him. And probably about an hour later, you see Misted come trotting up. And it's very apparent this is going to be a very, very long court session.
This seems to be a long court session, a very long one. I'd either wait for another hour or so, and then if it doesn't seem to have cleared by then, I would go try to find. I'm drawing a blank on the name. Lady that's helping Elbrig, so I'd just go to where I usually see him.
Alright, you'd go to find DeVeers.
DeVeers? Yeah, DeVeers. Sorry, I knew it was something. I just couldn't think of it.
That's fine.
After a while, I'd go.
So you don't actually get the chance to do that. As the doors to the throne room open up, everyone still seems to be in session, and you see what looks to be a halfling standing at the door, just leans over, looks at you, nods, and just points at you and gives you the finger of, "Come here."
Oh, God.
That's right, blue one. In you go.
Oh no, what have I done? I would go and see what's going on.
And as you walk in, the door's shut behind you. And you are now in the throne room with Oris, Sinfori, and a rather young looking man sitting on the third throne, as well as the remaining lawkeepers in their previously assigned seats. And you see Sinfori look over and motion for you to step up to her.
Okay.
And then she just motions for you to stand next to her. Doesn't say
I
anything,
could go do that.
just motions to stand. And you proceed to hear the rest of or the last bits of this session, as it would be, where Oris is announcing that the results of their investigation from the previous day. And the simple understanding up to this point is that one of the lawkeepers had been killed.
Mhm.
You see, Oris just acknowledges the fact or recognizes the fact that you've entered. Doesn't seem one way or the other by it. And it seems that the court is being brought to a close. And she just nods and looks to the other two. The other two nod as well. And she goes, well, sucks though it may be, we have nothing pointing to the contrary. For now. However, as it is, the gates are to be opened up, as this has been ruled to be a suicide. It's unfortunate that Lawkeeper Zenith is no longer with us, and you can all rest assured that we will continue our investigation into any possible other matters, or perhaps possible reasons behind this. You are all free to go, return back to your domains, and take the new laws that we are importing into your domains with you. See that they are enacted correctly and quickly, as we do not wish to have these issues again. Is that not correct, Lawkeeper Dimnova? Who just quietly is staring at the ground and just nods. Yes, Your Majesty. Good. And you see her stand up. Lawkeepers, you are dismissed. Aside from you, Lawkeeper Dimnova, I have a few more things to ask of you. And he just sits back down and just folds his hands and quietly sits and waits. And you see the other lawkeepers all stand up, bow to the thrones, and then one by one make their way out of the throne room. And the doors then shut behind them. And she motions to you to step forward.
Jiro just lets out a grumble of, pretty much that, oh boy, and just steps forward.
And she motions to you. You are aware of who this is, correct, Lawkeeper? He brings his eyes up, sees you, and just a moment of just gut churning hate just shoots from him to you, and he just nods and, unfortunately, yes, I am familiar with this individual. And she nods. Okay.
He remembers.
Oh, she's shy. Don't worry, I won't tell no one. And she just nods and, Tyrrell, I'm not so certain if you have been made aware, But as you were present when Lawkeeper Dimnova's son, Gage, was placed under arrest there at Delvi Ixnam and was to be brought here to stand trial for his crimes in Ashenwake. You are aware of this, correct? You recall this?
Yes, I do recall these events.
She nods. Okay. Are you also aware that Gage Dimnova never made it to Abcassis?
That I was not aware of.
She just nods and proceeds to sit back in her chair. Sinfori has been handling the search efforts, which have also ended today, as her most trusted individuals will be making their way back with any possible reports they may have. However, it seems that the convoy carrying Mr. Dimnova's entourage, as it were, was suddenly beset on the trail just before Sunder Hollow, and never proceeded any further, and no bodies were recovered. However, the remains of the wagons and carts were still there, smoldering and broken.
Hmm.
She just looks at the Lawkeeper, and Lawkeeper Dimnova states that he has no knowledge of any of this, no interference, and scummy though he may be, you see just this twinge of like an eye twitch coming from Dimnova, but doesn't say anything. I do believe that he did not have any influence in this. For now. However, if any reports may come to your ear, or anything you may learn or find out as to the whereabouts of one Gage Dimnova, he has since been updated on his arrest. He is to be brought in dead or alive. Preferably alive. But, however way you may find him, that is the way we will take him.
While it is preferable to have him alive, I will say that the threats made upon me for his own actions won't be taken with a grain of salt if he is no longer contained.
She nods. Understandable. Should it come the need for force, try to be as non-lethal as possible, but if unavoidable, it is an unfortunate circumstance that he has found himself in, as now he is a fugitive on the run.
I understand.
And she looks at Lawkeeper Dimnova. Also, I understand that the elections are coming up for Ashenwake. Is that not true, Lawkeeper? You see him just nod. Well, I hope you will be overjoyed to hear that we will be dispatching a unit of our Night Fang, specifically to protect yourself and the other candidates, while this entire process goes on, as we would not wish to have a repeat of what happened last time, unfortunate though it was, from occurring again. Is that understood, Lawkeeper? And again, he quietly just nods. Wonderful. You are dismissed. Return to your domain. And please implement those new laws that we have all agreed upon as quickly as you can. If you would like, we will offer you a escort by some of our blood onyx, if that will make you feel safer upon the road. To which he just looks around and nods. It would be appreciated, Your Majesty. Thank you. Very well. I assume you know the way out. He stands up, gives a very short, curt bow, and then quickly trods off out the doors. That was thrilling now, wasn't it, Tyrrell?
Was definitely something, but now I see why I got dragged into court.
Indeed. As a guildmaster, although not of Venaru, it is partially your responsibility to understand and know of any wanted fugitives going about, especially those of a magical nature. Which, despite Gage not having any prior magical capabilities, he was quite the alchemist. Even though I hate to admit it, he was quite the savant with alchemy, and his particular brand of magic. And if he is using that to perhaps jump from place to place, or find a way to make himself invisible or otherwise, it might be in the best interest of the guild to know that such a being is loose and wanted.
Well, since I know, I can always give a report to the guild hall here and have it sent out to all nearby chapters. Have them on the look just in case.
That would be appreciated.
Consider it done.
Now, I do not recall us summoning you, though, so it was rather odd to find you out there. What is it you needed?
I had come here searching for Sinfori for a couple questions that she might be able to help me with. Possibly a solution to a issue at the moment.
And you see Oris kind of give you an eyebrow raise with a sly smile. I don't know if she can help you with that.
Shouldn't you be keeping images in present company?
She just looks around to the pretty much empty room.
Oh wait, didn't the
The lawkeepers all
did the
left.
other one?
Yeah, the
You said it
lawkeepers
was
are all gone.
okay. You said it was her and one younger person up there by her. I didn't think he had left.
Yeah, it is her, Sidfori, and this third individual sitting in the three thrones. Which this individual is a not really young human man,
Mhm.
but probably like mid early 30s, younger human, bald head, and a golden tattoo on his forehead.
Hmm.
And he seems to have been just staring daggers into you this whole time. Doesn't say a word.
Well, when I mentioned present company, was referring to them because I don't know who it is.
And
The younger guy.
she looks around. She goes, "Well, it's just the four of us. You, myself, Sinfori, and Proavis here. I don't feel the need to keep up appearances of anything."
I'll just give her a look in Proavis.
And she just nods and it's confusing, I know. It's the name passes on to the next keeper, so on and so forth. It passes down the line. It's supposed to be confusing. It's history, historical, cultural thing. It's completely asinine, if you ask me. But culture is culture, and I will not stand in the way of culture. Especially considering this has been going on for, at least the last few hundred years, if not
When she
thousand.
says this, I would look over at the current Proavis, and do I notice the fact he's staring daggers at me?
It's pretty well hidden, but it is that look of not really like just hatred, but distrust.
Hmm. Would I have to roll anything to quite notice that?
Depends on if you're trying to detect something quite personal about it.
I just meant in general. Does it give the feel that he kind of is looking at me in that general sense?
It's the general, it's not a good look.
Hmm.
And
Tyrell just kind of
being a blue tiefling, you're kind of used to this look. But it seems a
yeah.
little bit more intense.
Tyrell just kind of look at him and say, hello, and introduce himself. And yeah, you're new. You weren't here last time.
And he doesn't say a word. Just simply stands up. I will be retiring back to the annex then, if Tomanur, Tomashin, if you do not require anything else. To
Well,
which, sorry?
I'd stop him real quick, and I'd be like, well, I mean, one thing, I plan on visiting the annex soon, but I guess this is. I just look at Oris and then I just say, is he normally like this? I don't know how to read him. It's kind of weird.
And you see her just look over and I try not to think too hard on it.
Well then, regarding the object Oris that you had helped me fix at one point,
She nods.
is now a good time to. Then I just do like a gesture, like it's now now a good time to hand it over, like, eh.
She just looks at you and looks at him. Well, he would be the keeper if that was your objective.
Mm, I mean, I grew attached to the item a wee bit, and the other issues, but besides the fact it whispers primordial at me, it really has no more use. So, and I'd, you know, go down to more pouch towards where it was and pull it out and just kind of hold it in the open and just simply state, Pro Avis, I was tasked by the previous guild master to get this to you, as you should know what to do with it, I assume.
And he just looks at the hide covered sack that you're holding and just. Okay. I am grateful for you bringing whatever this is. And steps up and gently just takes it from you.
It used to be a lot more of an issue, trust me. It's rather tame, besides the fact it whispers about freedom. Eh.
You see him just kind of stop for a moment. And then he just looks down at it. And you see him just slightly open it and then shuts it immediately. And tucks it into his robes. Well, I know where to put this then.
When I drop by later, would you be able to fill me in on what it actually is and or does?
He just looks at you. It might be better, Guildmaster, that you not know everything.
I can understand where you see that, but since I was literally sucked into said stone, I kind of want to know.
He again just stops and turns to Oris and Forin, Tomanur, Tomashian. I will retire to the annex. Again, if you have no further use of me. The two of them just look at each other, look at him. You seem to be in a bit of a hurry there, Paravis. Yes, I need to continue my work. Everything down there was left in pretty well disarray. I would like to get back to my duties. I will just nod. Very well. We shall call upon you should we need you, Paravis. He gives a slight bow. Tomanur, Tomashin, you know where to find me. And quickly walks out of the throne room. leaving just you, Sinfori, and Oris.
Once he leaves, and I see him leave, I'm just gonna simply state, yeah, I don't trust that one.
Sinfori just smiles. I would say you get used to it.
Do you, though?
However, he is still very new. And we are not quite familiar yet. And you
Well,
see Oris look over. Well, you know what I'm familiar with? Bed.
I swear to God, it's booze.
Booze is a good option too. And
Oh,
also
God.
getting out of this dress.
I'm gonna pay for this later, but I'm gonna laugh.
She looks at you. Oh, ready for round 2, are you? And just cracks her knuckles.
I told you I wanted trained, and granted that was meant in more ways than one. But yeah, I'd be ready for round 2 at some point when I could feel my rib again. That's all.
And she just looks at you. So, the stab wounds, they healed up pretty well?
Decently. They'll be okay.
Bless you.
Round 2 will be soon enough. I just gotta figure out a few things yet.
She nods. I'm gonna go put some actual comfortable clothes on. And don't do anything stupid to my wife. And you see her just walk out of the throne room.
While she's walking, I just quietly pipe up. I don't intend to, but you do realize who you're talking to, right?
She just pokes her head back around the corner. I will burn you alive! And then continues to walk.
That's fair. Fair
And
is fair.
the Tomashian, Sinfori, stands up from her throne, dusts herself off. Well, I don't believe this is the place to have these conversations, I assume.
I mean, as weird as this is going to come out of my mouth, more private and personal quarters would be more just for this.
And you hear a soft, ha! From the back of the room.
You know, she was the one who said she would be okay with the blue one, just not the metal one.
Yeah. But that wasn't the voice you heard.
Okay.
Sitting in the back of the room is the green jacket.
Oh, fucking Christ. I just turned back. Really?
He just turns to you. Really?
Really?
Really? And he's just got a big shit-eating grin on his face. She just looks at the two of you. Children, please. He just goes, he started it, and goes back to what he was doing, which looks to be going through some kind of paperwork.
Does he actually say he started it?
Yeah, he says you started it.
That guy's
I
gonna
just-
get punched in the
I,
teeth
I
at some
just
point.
turned back to her, and I'd look at her, and then look back at him, and just say, Big Sister said it's my turn with the magic stuff.
And he starts rolling. She just shakes her head. Come on, before you two start slapping each other. And proceeds to walk out of the throne room.
I follow, and just keep an eye on him as I'm going.
He's still got that shit-eating grin. Give me a perception check, by the way.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's see how this will roll. Gotta let it load in, load in, load in. Skill. Perception. 13.
He has a very strange looking weapon in his hands and seems to be holding some kind of reports. But that's about all you can really see of it. But the weapon he's holding looks to be a long bladed, possibly dagger, and still has blood covering it, as well as some other viscera.
Mm. It's got the goops on it.
It's got the goobly goop. But that's about all you could see as you are walking out.
Okay.
And as you step out, you see Misted and Sinfori just both are looking at each other, both look at you. And as you see them both look at you, their eyes go past you, and you hear the familiar footsteps of Nomad come walking up behind you.
I just look at the two of them and go, I was here first, you wait your turn. I got dragged into court over this shit.
Nomad looks at you in a way that you have not seen Nomad look at you before.
Tiro just looks at you. What is it?
I fear that I may not be in my right mind and require assistance.
Welcome to the club. It's very exclusive. It usually only consists of me. I know you're paying.
Nomad just
Drink.
puts his hand up to stop you and says, I am not joking.
Neither was I. Do you remember the beginning issues with that stone?
This is a fair point.
Nomad's just going to he doesn't sigh, but he just says, I went to the annex and had an experience there, which I believe needs addressing.
Okay. My issues shouldn't take too terribly long, but I just need to consult the queen in private first.
You see her just roll her eyes. Oh, for the love of everything. 3 of you, come along, now. Turns and
Mom.
begins walking. I will not have any back talk. Come.
Don't make me turn this. Don't make me turn this party around.
Don't make me turn this field trip around. I will do it, mister. I will change you from blue to purple. Watch me.
Isn't that Oris's job?
You don't know.
That's fair. Concerning, but fair.
And then they were both bottoms.
And the jazz music stopped.
Need a dick
Sad
check.
noises.
But yeah, so now the 3 of you in a little, like the little gaggle of bastards, are now following after Sinfori. And she leads you to a conference room, as it were, similar to the lounge you were in the previous time. And invites you all in, waits for you all to enter, and then would shut the door behind you. To which she then would trot over to one of the couches and would sit down, rub the sides of her head a little bit. Okay. So, Tyrrell, what is it you would like help with?
Tiro just looks at her and goes, If this is as pressing for Nomad as it is, you should probably talk to him
She
first.
just puts a finger up. No, no, no. I asked you. We'll get to him next.
You're really gonna make me go with this?
Yes. Yes, I am.
I swear to God, you get some sort of sick, twisted pleasure out of this.
Oh, you know it.
Okay, two things. One, I plan to seek out a way to, as stupid as it is, talk to the Sapphire Citadel here.
Okay.
I want to make you aware of this because the issue of me doing this is the fact that a chapter house of the Sapphire Citadel, where I'm from, was trying to hunt me for the longest time. They wanted me for something. I want to find out why.
She just looks at you and, well, if it's any help at all, um, as the queen, I would have some pull in getting you an audience in the Sapphire Citadel with possibly some professors. De Veers would be the one to seek out if you wish to go any higher than that.
I
Although, if
plan to
it's
seek out the
referring to something from another citadel in another country, perhaps, they don't communicate like the guild does or like the archive does. They are quite separate, competitive. So I do not know if they would know what you are referring to. But it's always worth a shot.
Okay, so it shouldn't be too terribly dumb to do it here rather than there. Secondly, I had a conversation with your brother.
She
He's
just
just
rolls her
yeah,
eyes.
he's a wellspring of knowledge.
Yes, he does not know quite when to shut up.
More like I paid him to tell me stuff, so really. Anyway, I am trying to find a way into Pelatoria's garden.
Into the grove.
Yes.
Okay.
Now here's my slight issue. And I just reach down at my hip and hold the sword out to her.
Yes, it is quite lovely.
Try taking it.
I'd rather not.
Why is that?
Weapons like that are not really my, well, forte.
Okay, to make the story simple, I guess they're gonna hear part of this. I need you to cast Remove Curse on me.
She just stops and looks at your arm, then looks at the sword. Well, though you would be correct in seeking out a caster of my capabilities or someone like me, unfortunately that is not my area of expertise, although I do know someone who might be able to help you.
Okay, question then for this. Am I able to enter the grove with a weapon
No.
if I mean no intent?
And she just looks at you for a moment. Pelatoria has been around for thousands of years. Her grove is her home. You may
Yes.
enter it with whatever you wish, however you wish, with whatever intent you may wish. However, that does not mean that she will discern it to be so. So,
So you're saying I have a chance of walking in there, she might just kill me from orbit.
she's not a violent individual.
So more along the lines of she just won't show up because I haven't.
She will not show herself.
Okay. So who would I talk to then about this expertise where I can guarantee that I at least don't uh, have anything happen to my arm from this process? That could be an issue.
Well, there's no guarantee that nothing will happen to your arm. If it is in fact cursed, to remove a curse would remove the curse. Simple as that. However, the individual you seek is down in the annex protecting the vault.
Okay. Who would that be?
She just looks at you. Oh, you'll know when you see them. Trust me, you cannot miss them.
You'd be surprised.
I would not.
Nomad would speak up and just say, she probably means either Eartham or Madras.
Those would be the two guarding the vault currently.
Okay. Secondly, since you are one of very high magical potential, power, whatever you want to consider it, what do you think the ramifications will be if that is cast on me?
She just
Besides
looks
the
at
fact
you.
I can let go of the thing.
Honestly, I've never been cursed by more than one thing at any given time. So I cannot say, nor have I ever shared your capabilities.
Out of character, she's currently being cursed by more than one thing at a time.
Mm,
She's got 3 annoying inquisitive adventurers here.
one of which she views as like a daughter to her, who is also her student, and the other one being Tyrrell. And then there's Nomad, just looking scared shitless as a faceless, masked individual can look.
To be fair,
And
I think 7 alone just standing in this room.
Mm,
I just want to let you guys know I'm always present in the game. I'm just like in disguise somewhere. Copious amounts of mustaches, like a draped curtain here and there.
I would
It
like
is
you
a
all to
fact
meet
that
Oren Gaius, by the way. Basically, he just described Oren Gaius.
yeah,
All right. Tyrrell just kind of look at her and just say, actually, on that, if the Sapphire Citadel is not able to help me, do you think you would be able to help me understand certain aspects of my capabilities?
And the eyes kind of narrow. That is probably needing to be thought upon and explained further when Oris and I are possibly together.
Yeah, I tried that. Actually, I've tried it twice now, saying I wanted to be trained by Oris, and I got the shit beat out of me for that one. Well, I mean, at least I didn't get the shit kicked out of me in this one. So, yeah, next time you guys are around, I will drop by again.
She just shakes her head. Don't ask Oris for any kind of combat training. Even holding back, she will kill you.
I mean, I managed to survive a couple hits.
Sure, of course.
Anyway, Daryl just tell her, I wasn't kidding about going back for round 2. I'm gonna attempt. I'm going to land a hit at least once.
She just stops you. Perhaps Magus or Eartham can help you with that as well. In a less likely scenario of you dying.
Yeah, she saved me once already. I think I'll be all right.
There's only a limit to how many times she could do that.
The option is to not die then.
Perhaps. Anyways. And she's just looking at you. Anything else?
I'll be right back. I need to think on a couple things, so I will take a step back and allow Nomad to explain himself now, as
Alright.
most of my stuff is answered. But I will stick around and try to think of how I want to say the next part.
Alright. And as Nomad's turn comes up, I'm going to take a short 5-minute break, check on where the wife is at, check on Little Dude, and we will return in about 5 minutes. Once again, I return.
Oh god.
And now it is Nomad's turn. So, Nomad. Tyrell has stepped back. Sinfori is sitting comfortably upon the couch. And,
Hold on. Andrew's gone.
I mean, yeah. Also, the
Nomad.
wife is going to be stuck at work for a while longer yet, so we might actually not have her today.
Alright. Well. Shall I go ahead anyway?
Yep.
God, it sucks that whenever any time that this shit happens and I have relevant information that Andrew would specifically have information to interact with, he's nowhere to be found.
He is currently dealing with some life stuff.
Shit. Fuck. Ass. Bitch. Whore. Tits.
Yep, my bad sums up. Anything else you want to put in there?
Cunt.
Chocolate diet? Yeah, that's good. Cunt's good.
Balance.
I'll let you have that one. Yeah, tell you what, if I give you, it seems like you want cunt already. What if I give you a British license? You can call him a wanker. How about that?
Pineapple.
There you go. That's better.
Troglodyte.
Let's go. Let's go through the fruits. Let's go. Let's keep going. Come on, let's keep it fruity. Come on, let's go.
Go through the fruits.
Let me down
Daniel
now. Come on.
Guroff.
There we go. Come on, that's very vague. I mean, I think that one's gonna go.
I don't think
through,
that's vague at all. Ricky knows what I mean.
I know, one person isn't people.
All right. Anyways, and Sinfori is patiently awaiting you and your interaction.
Nomad would start off by saying, this morning, having nothing more pressing to attend to, I decided to go to the annex and look around, as I thought I might be able to find something interesting. I went to just browse, but I found something which was a cause for concern by itself, and the experiences it invoked for me are even greater cause for concern.
She nods.
It appeared to be a research journal of some sort. Unfinished, but on the topic of something called the Onyx Depths.
She tilts her head. I am familiar with the name, but not much else.
From what I understand, it is the space outside of the world, or outside of any world. From the descriptions in the book, it is empty, but only upon first glance. And based on what followed in the book and my experiences, I have reason to believe that it's a rather direct cause for concern at the current moment. And he would go on to sort of explain the contents of the book, and then, like, pause after having explained all what was in the book to see any reaction.
She is unfamiliar.
And then would go on to slowly and carefully trying to sound as trying to sound as best he can not insane, to explain the experience he then encountered in full detail.
Okay, which was?
After I read the book, I came to the end, or to the middle of the book, as it were, since it's cut off halfway through, as I assume the original author finally lost either control of his faculties or his life. But on the empty pages, as I was flipping through to ensure nothing else remained, words began to form, spontaneously, addressing me specifically, offering me freedom. The ink began to pour from the pages onto the table, and concerned, I began to back away, only to discover that the annex had seemingly vanished around me, and I was trapped within an expanse of utter darkness. Within, I saw 7 figures, 6 of which I did not recognize, but one of which, I'm afraid, was most likely the Black King. One of them approached me and held its hand out. I continued to attempt to escape this vision, only doing so by, well, I accidentally backed into Eartham. Apparently, I was having some sort of hallucination. No one else but me could see it, and from what Maedrus tells me, I had been wandering around and knocking into bookshelves. I assumed that this ordeal was over and gave the book to Proavis, as I assumed he would know where to put it, and attempted to leave the annex, only to discover that it was not quite over. Upon reaching the middle flight, I was again met with the emptiness and the figure offering its hand to me. After attempting to retreat again, it vanished, and I came here immediately to share my experience, as it were.
And she thinks on this for a while. This is beyond my faculties. I'm not quite certain where to even begin, but it seems like you were granted a vision of some kind, as horrifying and terrifying it might have been. A vision nonetheless. I do not believe you are losing your mind, Nomad.
There
But
is
take care.
one other thing. There were a number of parallels that I can draw, but the recurrence of certain themes in this vision leads me to believe that the Onyx Depths, these figures, and the Black King's return are also connected to the invasion of our world by the Slicks, as the ink that the words in the book were written with that then spilled over onto the table was the same black, oily substance that they are comprised of.
And again, she just shakes her head. I cannot see what you saw. At least, not yet. However, She just goes quiet. Honestly, I have no idea what I can even do. I might be able to offer you a spell of protection, but I doubt it will do anything truly helpful.
Nomad would slowly nod and say, whatever the case, I just hope that I don't have to go through something like this again. As it's perturbing to say the least.
I could imagine. Well, that was quite a bit. She seems to just be searching for something, looking around, just everything and nothing. She's just thinking. I'll send word to Delviexton, see if anyone might know anything, might be able to further assist, as they were able to study you, of course, while there. Perhaps there's a chance that somebody has learned something that might be able to ease your mind.
Nomad would nod.
This is indeed truly disturbing, though. However, your choices will determine what happens to you. Of that I am certain. And, for the time being, don't beat yourself up over it. So, is there anything else you'd like to address?
Nomad would shake his head no.
And she nods. Well, Tiro, go seek out the pair down the annex. See if they might be able to remedy your plight. Although I will warn you, one may just try to simply cut your arm off. And Nomad, there's a festival occurring soon. Perhaps you should think more of that and look forward to it.
Nomad would just nod and continue to brood.
And she turns to say something to Misted. As she does, you hear a very frantic ringing of a bell.
Like a desk bell, or like a, oh, there's an alarm going on in the city bell.
Like someone has a bell somewhere and is ringing it with their hand, just ding 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 ding.
So so kind of like a handbell for like calling people to supper.
You know that
Sorry,
scene from Men in Black where they start talking to each other in alien language? I thought I was just having a fever dream, and that was the scene you were having at the moment.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I thought you were Will Smith just breaking into alien language there. I ain't gonna lie.
He just turns around and
Exactly.
that was my brain completely failing to function for a moment and having to you know what happens when you turn like an old car on a really cold morning and it won't start and you have to turn the key and it goes
Oh, I didn't, but I do now. Yeah.
That's what my brain was doing.
Oh, I love your brain.
he was cold cocking the fucking brain.
I do. I love how your brain works.
That is an interesting cold cock.
Mm.
Like, had a moment. Apparently your cold cocking is start beatboxing. Give you time to think.
Yeah, it's an old Camry, dude. Once that shit starts going, it'll go forever, but you just gotta get it there first. Really cold morning, gotta start it up. It's been sitting for like 3 days in the fucking freezing cold. Just
That's the stuff. That's the good TNT stuff.
yes.
That's the real shit, brother.
You all hear these sounds of this frantic bell ringing, and then it just gradually just ding 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 ding, and goes quiet. You see Sinfora just kind of, oh, well, duty calls, and she stands up and begins to walk out. You may join me if you wish. It is certainly
There we go.
a sight to behold. Elbrig, your lesson with DeViris is rather reminiscent of the previous lessons you've had, just touching base, going through the motions, practicing the cantrip level spells of various different kinds, and improving on them, getting the feel for each of the different elemental types of magic, and this lesson branches into the understanding and the feeling behind each of the different schools of magic. As abjuration will feel different from evocation, and conjuration will always feel different from either or, and so on and so forth. But you do find that you have an unusual knack, like a very comfort with divination.
Of course I do.
And it is during this entire sequence that they're all going through that your lesson with DeViris continues on. Whilst divination does feel rather natural to you, it feels almost incomplete. Like it's you can just there's just something more you can put to it. Like it's there. It's best way to describe it, because this is where my brain's at right now. It's like a sandwich with nothing on it. You can add something to it. That's literally where my brain is at right now. I just looked over, I was like, we got bread. I really want a sandwich.
He's like butter spread over too much bread.
Is it no? Let's not derive into food pool now. Come on now.
But yeah, it's just something feels like it's there, but you feel like you can put something more into it. But aside from that, the other spells go off pretty well. Elbrig gains a bit more insight into the varying different forms of these different schools of magic, as well as Devere's beginning to teach Elbrig one of her signature spells. It's not quite there yet. You can't quite reproduce it on your own. But you've begun to grasp the concept behind Thundering Whip.
I see.
And as your lessons continue on, you begin to discover that many of the things that she has done with her particular forms of magic and spells and her particular brand of spell crafting is more or less taking inspiration from other spells that already exist, and more than just transmuting them to a different element, just transmuting the entire spell to make it her own. And these are spells from, for lack of my brain having a word for how to apply this in the world, other classes, professions, thank you, skill
Other
sets, magical trees.
disciplines. There we go.
Certainly. But that she seems to take them from other pools of magic that she would not normally have access to, imitating this, the formula for these spells, and then crafting it into something that she can use. And has begun to teach Elbrig how to do the same thing, to improve upon such a thing as Crashing Wave, and to possibly make it more powerful, more versatile, or to create more spells. And towards the end of this lesson, she gives Elbrig a particularly well-bound book full of blank pages of very, very, and I cannot understate, very high-quality paper. And specifically tells Elbrig that this is a spell book, obviously, or it will be, but that this is specifically the spell book that she wants him to fill with spells that no one else really has access to, or spells that he normally would not be able to perform, and instead use this paper to create the formulas for those spells in a way that he can use them. And she wants him to fill this book. It is 25 pages of this spell book, and proceeds to hand it to him.
Sweet. Of course, duck my head and say thank you. I will definitely try.
And she goes, and to start, and you see her pull out a similar book to the one you have, and pulls the page out and hands it to you, and explains that that is Thundering Whip. That you may study this on your own time to recreate it and make it your own. It is a cantrip.
Get. It shall be done, dear teacher.
And then she thinks on it for a little bit. Find me later. I have some things to think on and questions that I would like to ask you. But for now, I must return to my own investigation into the Temple of Estia.
Okay.
And with that, she gives you a soft little head nod / bow and walks off, giving Samson a good little pat on the head before continuing on her way. And it is roughly about this time that you, more clearly than the others, hear this very erratic bell ringing coming from what sounds to be the military district or the military ring just below.
So night. Well, we say fuck that, completely ignore that, and go in the opposite direction. Nah, we'll pack up everything as we've done with our lesson and trying to not be our usual self, which would normally take me in the opposite direction. I will say, come on, Samson, time to investigate. Hopefully, we're not going to find another fucking body.
And as you get all your stuff put together, you look over and you see Sinfori has exited out of the Black Keep and is walked to a stop there in the cultural ring and just seems to be waiting. Hands, crossed in front of her. And just waiting.
Yes, while top Samson, we drop over and say, everything alright, Centaur?
And she looks over and smiles and, yes, if you wouldn't mind standing behind me.
Like the eyes kind of widen a little bit, and then we like, yeah, no problem. We'll stand behind her. But like 15 feet behind her.
She smiles. The dust can sometimes be a little bit blinding.
It's like a raised eyebrow, and then dust, blinding.
So who all is outside with Sinfori? Because I know Misted would be.
Apparently, I am.
For a lack of anything better to do and not really wanting to be alone, Nomad would follow.
Okay, Tyrell.
Limp.
Would I assume correctly that Tyrell would also follow Sinfori out? Uh-oh. R.I.P., buddy. R.I.P.
In the arms of the good year.
He was a good person.
Tiefling. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. They're not people.
But for the sake of narrative, there's only one of two options. Tyrell would have headed immediately down to the annex to meet with Eartham and Madras, or would have followed Sinfori out. And I'm going to... I mean... Yeah, it really would just be up to Tyrell. So if he was here for it, then he was here for it. If not, oh well. But, as Nomad, Elbrig, and Misted are out with Sinfori, and all three of you are, as per her words, standing behind her, you see a rather decent crowd of people, primarily children, like staggeringly larger number of children, excitedly running up the steps to the cultural ring, but seeming to just kind of fan out and stop towards the entranceway into the cultural ring up the steps. And then you hear whistling from above.
Of course, draw your attention skyward.
you see what looks to be 7 winged creatures, humanoid in shape, descending towards the cultural ring.
I'm kidding.
And each one of them seems to have some kind of reed or rod seemingly woven into the feathers of their wings, which produces a whistling song-like sound. And as they rapidly draw closer, you see the wings all one by one after the other, widen to slow their descent, and then the first 6 land one after the other and form what looks to be 2 rows, 3 each. And these winged individuals are fully armored in very black, gold, red, and blue just armor. Metal looks to be the majority of it, looks to be very heavy metal, possibly half plate, with tunics underneath. And the wings seem to stretch out from their lower backs. And their wingspans each are probably about 15 feet. And as each one lands, you see them take about a step forward and immediately kneel. They don't say anything. No, nothing is said. And then the 7th and final one descends behind all the rest and is in much more ornate armor. Excuse me. Much more ornate armor. More gold than the others on this armor set, and is wielding a great hammer on their what looks to be on their back, and proceeds to take a few steps forward, removes their helm, and drops to one knee and kneels. And again, none of them speak, none of them say anything, and they just seem to be waiting. I thought I had an image for this, but I apparently do not. That is rather fucking unfortunate. I know.
Well, hold on. Jack, were you gasping at the fact that he doesn't have an image or the fact that he said the F word?
Yes.
Eat a dick.
Well,
Never!
shit, where is it?
We will never surrender!
I mean, does it count as a surrender if it's consensual?
Where are we going with this?
All I'm
I'm
saying
I
is
hear you
what that mouth
saying.
do.
I hear you saying. I'm still concerned.
Anyways, you see Sinfori take about 2 steps forward, smiles to the group of these individuals, and then looks to the 7th one that had landed and is now between all the others, and just, yes, very well done. Pax, come on. Did you find anything? And you see each one of them in unison stands up and just turns. The 3 on each side just turn to face inward. And each one of them seems to have their own unique style of weaponry on them. And, yeah, it's, that turned, you see literal dust just as each one of their wings just kicks up like some piles of dust, and it's just the dust settles, and the one that she referred to as Pax seems to stand up, looks to the others, and shakes her head as it appears to be a tall, possibly human woman. Don't know why she has the wings, though, but there they are.
I was going to make a step on me joke, but I'll leave it to the group.
She does not appear to be tiefling or Azamar. She appears to just be human. And the others then each remove their helms, and all 6 of the other women seem to also be. One looks to be a half-orc, another one looks to be a Goliath. One does appear to be a tiefling, but as each one removes their helm, there are no other Azamar, or even what would resemble something like what Oris or Sinfori are. But each one of them bears a particular brand upon their forehead, with the 7th one named Pax having a bit more of a established, more intricate rune upon their head. And she shakes her head. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. We searched for the lost soldiers. We were unable to find any. And she just looks to the others. None of you were able to find them, huh? And again, no movement, no words. They just don't move, don't budge. And Sinfora just nods. Thank you, Pax. Please, get some rest. Enjoy the festival. I'll call for the captain and inform him. Please, retire. Get some rest. I'm sure your wings must be tired. And each one of them just snaps to attention, salutes, and then on a pivot, turn on their heels and proceed to walk into the Black Keep, bypassing every one of you without so much as a look, a word, a glance, nothing. And as they enter in, Sinfori turns to the group of you. Well, seems I have more work to do. Please, enjoy yourselves. The festival will be taking part in a few days, and I'm sure it will help alleviate some stresses. Now I must take my leave. And turns and begins to walk towards the military district, leaving the group of you all standing there, I would assume. So, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go back to the district where the very powerful merchant is supposed to appear and see if he shows up today.
All right, you'll head to the merchant ring.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nomad. Honestly, I have no idea what Miss is gonna do. We had fully assumed that she would be here for this, so I have no idea.
I will take. No.
Oh God, please no.
Well, Nomad shared his concerns and doesn't really have anything else to do.
Well, Elbrig's heading to the merchant's ring.
Nomad would probably just go home. Or rather, back to
Jesus
the room.
Christ, Nomad. It's a long walk.
What are you defining home as, though?
That's a long walk.
That's fair.
All the options, aside from one. So Nomad would return to the room.
Yep.
All right. So, Elbrig, unfortunately, you do not find this colorful, literal and figurative peacock of a merchant. However, you do see a familiar face as they open the gates to Abcassis. Fully, you do see a familiar face entering into the city.
They fully open the gates, I guess, as in we're not on lockdown anymore.
We are no longer in lockdown. Sorry, Elric was not actually there for it. But asking around, perhaps, or just listening
But
in.
no, as soon as we got in and saw, like, as soon as you see the gate is open or opening, the first thing would have done was gone to like a stall right next to us somewhere and be like, "Wait, the lockdown's over?"
And
And then gossip.
yeah, the merchant would have nodded and just been like, apparently the lawkeeper's death was deemed suicide. So they're not on a manhunt anymore.
Suicide? That is surprising. That's
And
uh,
the stall next to him, just the man leading that stall just leans over and I call bullshit. You don't commit suicide like that. That man cut himself from chode to chin. That wasn't suicide. They're fools for opening those gates. Distinctly with the
yeah,
words chode to chin.
yeah. I'm just looking at the other merchant who's chimed in. I look back at the original merchant and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. I was there when they found the body. That's not fucking. There are much easier ways to off oneself than the painful experience that would have been.
At the mention that
Something's
you were
up.
there when they found the body, they just kind of both just kind of looked at you, raised eyebrow. Oh, you mean you saw them like? Okay, they got really concerned really quickly.
Oh yeah, no, I'm secretly a murderer. I'm just
It's not a
here to.
secret anymore.
I'm here bragging to you because it would be hilarious. No, of course I don't mean I was. Of course I saw them with the body.
Yeah, they just kind of chatter back and forth, and the guy that had leaned in and chimed in just goes, yeah, according to the guards, the man they were escorting him back to his residence there in the district, and just walking down the street, middle of everyone, middle of everything, he just stopped and then just went still, looked around, and then just pulled his blade and cut himself up. That doesn't sound right to me. I think they killed him.
That or there's magic involved.
They both
There's
just
some
kind of look at
scary,
each other.
scary shit up.
Is there even magic that can do that?
Unfortunately, my friends, there is.
You see them both just kind of get panicked and look at each other. And the first dude you were talking to just looks at you and goes, well, I'd love to know that spell so you'd stop taking my customers. And the other one just kind of looks at him. Bad timing. Bad timing.
Yeah, my boy, it's a bit too soon.
He just nods. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like I said, that was a violation.
That was a violation to the nation.
Eagle eyes.
It's
Yeah,
time for
alright,
some decapitation.
So yeah, after getting that short little spurt with them, who's the familiar face I see?
Well, technically it's 3 familiar faces. One of which is a gnome that you are quite familiar with, who is leading what looks to be a small caravan with the name of his shop printed on the side of a wagon being pulled by horses behind the one he is currently riding on. Which the side of that cart reads Thrastle's Threads. And you recognize the 2 horses that he is driving into the city.
happened? What?
You recognize these as your guys' horses, along with your wagon. Thrassel is seemingly driving your wagon into the city.
Yeah, I don't really care that much. It's not my wagon. It's the other guys' wagons. But cool. Yeah, no, we'll trot up and yell out for Thrassel. Thrassel, you're here. Thought you were sending someone else.
He just looks around and spots you and begins to wave. Well, really funny thing about that. You're my best customer, of course. So I figured, why not just bring your gift to you myself? And then I got to thinking a bit more. Thrassel, you've not seen much other, well, financiers since or before. I was barely making enough to get by there in Ashstone, so I figured, with the money that I now had, thanks to your generous purchases and requests at my shop, I'm able to pick up shop and move here to Abcassis, where I'd have possibly a better chance at a wider customer base. Thanks, of course, to you.
No problem, no problem. I'm glad you're moving up in the world.
And he just, right. And you see him reach into what looks to be a small lock box next to him. And he fidgets around through it for a little bit. And he pulls out your new outfit. When you had first entered into his shop, you were wearing your not really beyond repair, but a bit more tattered, like your robes and whatnot from your time as a priest.
well worn.
He
There you
seems
go.
to have recreated this design, and it is now incorporated into more like a tunicked robe, so it is more form-fitting, and can be worn underneath the rest of your clothing, but almost entirely made out of that arachnoviper silk, including a pair of trousers. And he proceeds to then hop down and walks it over and hands it to you.
Wonderful. It's completed. Much thanks, Thrassel. I was hoping you would figure a way to make this work.
And of course, you sent me everything I could possibly need for it. And I hope you don't mind, but I took a bit of inspiration from your original attire's design.
Not at all. Not at all. It's nice to have basically a piece of home with me, just of finer make.
And far more durable.
Yes, for sure. It should be. Look at it and kind of just have you tested it?
He just looks around. Oh goodness, no, I couldn't. Although, I did remember your request from a few ago, and he motions to side of the tunic, where you see a pocket has been sewn in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yes. You remembered. Wonderful. I immediately pretty much uh grab the lantern on Samson's collar and pull out the kind of blocking, obvious lines of sight,
Mm-hmm.
but switch it, flip the scale into that pocket.
Yep. And it is right there, right at chest level for you.
On the board.
And he then just looks and, oh, and of course, and gives a tug on the reins and just motions towards the horses. These were sent through by Cadmus, and I figured since I was already on my way here, I might as well bring them along with me.
Well, this is all coming together rather nicely. Appreciate you going along with it and bringing everything here.
Of course. Although I don't know exactly where it is you were all staying.
Oh, we're actually, uh, weirdly enough, staying in the actual Black Keep.
He just kind of
Race
goes a
around.
little bit shocked. Well, and then he just finally gets actual like a good look at your appearance and notices the sash, and he just, oh, um,
Yeah,
well,
kind of flick the sash. Yeah, kind of got honored and stuff.
well, now I'm quite certain I've never had the privilege of working for someone as esteemed as you, but I believe I can add that to my resume now, can't I?
Yeah, feel free. Once you set up shop, you can totally name drop. Say I'm one of your backers or whatever. You know, stand by your work there. Cause I kind of flick my own, still very nice, durable clothing. Besides the new Arachnoviper silk stuff, holds up pretty well.
He just
So yeah,
smiles. Thank you. I worked tirelessly on my craft. Well, if you will ever need to visit my shop again, or perhaps send friends, I will, of course, be. And he motions up to the trade ring. I have found a plot up there. It will be on the western side. You can't miss my shop. You've seen it many times.
I'm not doing anything right now. Let's walk and talk.
That would be wonderful. And you see him just kind of reach over and give the reins a quick tug on his own cart. And you can hear the clatter and rattle as everything inside seems to. He literally picked up his entire shop, shoved it in this wagon, and just went on his way. You're pretty sure you see a door sticking out as well. Like, he picked up everything.
Oh, this dude moves. He moves. Fucking, they go back to the town. You'll just see there's an empty plot, just an empty square plot. What the hell happened here? The dude who moved. He took the foundation. What? Yeah, no, he took the foundation with him.
And you just see just the pipes and everything still hanging in. They're like, what the hell? He took the plumbing too. What about the ventilation? Gone. Okay, the foundation gone.
Dude, he took
Where's the
everything.
road? Do I need to repeat myself again?
They take my nana too.
Yeah, that's right. It's his
Well,
nana
shit.
now.
This is took the house, took the foundation, took the driveway, took the cobblestone path that led up to the house. Just everything that literally wasn't part of the city. He just took.
Basically.
But what about my dog?
And you just see a tail
Which-
wagging in the back.
One person who keeps letting their dog wander over and take a shit on the grass, that was taken too.
Shit was left behind on their property.
But yeah, no.
Crazy.
So I grabbed the reins for our cart and everything, and then just with him going up to the merchant, going up to where his plot is, I'll just kind of gab with him about everything that's happened since we last met. Fill him in, and just have someone to talk to who's on the same level as me, height wise, and is more reasonable because the rest of my fucking teammates are crazy. He'll understand when I bitch about stuff. He's a normal person, unlike the rest of those motherfuckers. Fucking
Oh,
Carol.
he is
That's
right
no big deal.
alongside. He is right alongside you with that one.
Unlock journey, bitch with a fucking rank. Goes after people on. Yeah, just fill him in. he's my friend outside of the group. He's the he if we all had one NPC, he'd be my NPC.
But as you're all making your way there, you see another not truly familiar sight, but more recent sight. You see one of those winged individuals just kind of wandering about in the trades area. And he just kind of leans over and I've never actually seen them in person. It's quite astonishing, really.
You just see them land and with military precision check in with the king or whatever, Sunfori.
And he
It
just
was
nods and you do know who that is, right?
wait, Sunfori or the winged individual?
And he's motioning to this winged individual who, by the way, also looks to be a halfling.
Yeah, I'm at a loss. I mean, I feel like I should know, but I, it's, I'm not ringing any bells right now.
And he just looks around and she's a Valkyrum. They're literally the Queen's Guard. They answer to no one but the Queen. And what gives them wings? No one has ever known, unless you were a Valkyr and then you are sworn to silence. Only the leader of the Valkyr is allowed to speak. The others must
Oh,
remain silent.
they like out of character for the ones we did see. Just I want to know if there's a correlation. Are they all female or
They are all
mixed
female.
sexes? Okay, no, that's
They're
what
all
I was
No
female,
boys
but
allowed.
they are all
Boys are
female, and they
yucky.
are also all mixed races. So this one appears to be a halfling. There was, in fact, what looked to be an elf. Obviously, a tiefling. What looks to be a half orc. The human, obviously, Pax. And just an assortment of races, but all of them are female. And you couldn't really tell one, but you're pretty sure it was a dwarf. Couldn't really be sure. But yeah, they're all female, and all of them have wings. And there's no real reason why they do. It does not make sense.
Are they all the same type of wings, or are we
They
talking
all
about?
look to be the same type of wings.
And they're all. I'm guessing they're all quite more angelic, not bat-like.
Uh, more bird-like than angelic-like.
Okay.
It does not
Cool.
appear to be celestial entirely,
Mm-hmm.
but appears like more like bird wings, like a hawk, or even actually, it's a bit variety or a bit varied. Sorry, it's a bit varied of the actual like type, but they do all seem to resemble a type of bird. So one resembles more like a raven, others resemble more like a hawk or an eagle, so on and so forth.
They're
The
they're all
halflings,
feathered.
yeah, the halflings ones actually seem to more closely resemble something like a dove.
Mm. Yeah.
Yes, it appears that there is a female halfling winged member of the Valkyr strolling about.
Hmm.
And Thrasil is just awestruck.
I'll just chill with him. You can be as awestruck as you want to be.
And he goes on and just kind of he's read stories and whatnot about them. And he says this while you guys have made your way to what would be his plot or his new establishment. And it is completely empty on the inside. But it's a good location, well maintained. And first thing he does is he begins to unload all of his stuff, moves it all in, and then has his sign. And immediately, first thing he does, gets up a ladder and puts his sign up that says Thrasil's Threads. But while doing this, he begins to say he's heard stories and rumors and whatnot, and of course, legends, that the Valkyrim are literally just the Queen's Guard. They are her right hand, and they answer to no one else. They are the most elite of the Night Fang, the Blood Onyx, what have you, with all female for the sake of culture, but that they are in fact military, were trained military, rose through the ranks, and by one exceptional means or another were chosen to become Valkyrie. And that the corresponding side to the Queen's Guard is the King's Nexus, which he even then regales that there's actually a halfling who leads the current King's Nexus. And that the halfling in question is named Madris.
I know who to poison first. Okay.
Which, if you said that out loud, he also chuckles. And, well, that's the scary part about the Nexus. They are basically the international equivalent of assassins. Whereas the Valkyrium serve to protect everything under the Queen's rule and they act as her direct right hand, the King's Nexus serves as the King's right hand throughout the rest of the world. They will kill if they must. And they are allowed free reign, free roam. They are politicians. They are peace talkers. They are representatives. And, should it call for it, assassins. But that one is less military and more of the king's own choice. And he's saying this while unpacking all of his stuff into the shop.
Mhm.
And he also relates that, well, I'm just happy to be out of Ashen Wake. The elections are coming up for the new lawkeeper, and, well, Lawkeeper Dimnova's unfortunately been uncontested candidate for the last several elections, so I simply got tired of it all. And now that I had the means, thanks to you, I believe this would be a better option here.
Mm-hmm. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Well, it's been fun catching up with you. I'm gonna leave you to get in your shop and your things in order. Got some transcribing to do. There's a wonderful lady here who knows quite a bit about spellcraft when it comes to the non uh, studious studying of spellcraft, the more natural, innate ability. So she's been giving me pointers, and so I've got some work to do in that regard, and best done over in the cultural rank where it's nice and peaceful. So I'm gonna head over there and get to work. Again, thanks for delivering the stuff, all of it, and hope everything turns out for the best.
And he just smiles and, likewise for you. I'm glad to see you made a friend and a mentor. That is wonderful to hear. Well, if they ever need clothing, you know where to send them.
I do indeed. I do indeed. All right. Farewell. Farewell for now.
And he waves and goes back to unpacking all his stuff. So yeah, Thrastle's Threads is no longer in Ashstone. It is now in Abcassis.
Odds help us.
I guess I lead our cart and horses to the stables near the Blackkeep before going to the culture ring.
All right, easy enough. And all of your stuff is still in the back,
Yeah, on the back of the cart.
which is the rest of the alchemy set, as well as some trinkets here and there, whatnots, stores of food. and a small collection of what looks to be the flowers and whatnot that you had found along the way. Yeah, it seems that all of your stuff is still there.
Thunderbug, Thunderbug. Oh, yep. Take that back. We're all good. Glad the stuff is still there. We're
All right. Is there
I'll
anything
probably
else?
transfer the stuff into our rooms or into our room, I guess, just so that we have it. But besides that, after that's all taken care of, I'm gonna go to the coastal ring where I normally hang out with my new mentor and spend some time transcribing the summon undead into the book. You know, he wants me to fill it with stuff I've created, with stuff I normally can do, so I've created. Crashing wave and uh, summon undead. I get transcribed in there.
All right. And anything else you'd like to do during that meantime?
Visit a whorehouse.
There is no whorehouse. I'm sorry.
Troll for pussy. No, I'm kidding.
I would like to roll for Willa.
I
would like
hate
to
that
roll
I
over
know
with
where
that.
that's from.
Yeah, I love that dude. Okay, fine. I roll for villain.
All right. I would like to shovel roll to lift up his butt cheek. Is there a hot milf underneath? All right. And so, Tyrrell, are you alive?
Yes, I am alive.
Okay, wonderful.
There was no hot milk, by the way.
Dang it.
Ellen
So,
Mirren, BB No Money, and Doja Cat, all in my DMs. I don't know those things. You really ought to travel through time more, noble knight. I don't know how to. Not my problem. Oh, and send a painting of your thigh. That still hits.
Oh god, I kind of want to do that now. This is a joke. No dick pic. Here's the thing.
just, you know what? No, take it one step further. Here's my forearm. All right, so, Tyrrell, I'm not sure if you were here for the questioning. You had one of two choices. You could have either followed Sinfori out into the courtyard when the dude was ringing the bell, or you could have proceeded directly to the annex.
I don't believe I caught that. I was having internet issues while I was muted.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly did I miss? There's a guy ringing a bell.
Yes, Nomad gave his whole bleeding heart. He bled out to Sinfori and everything else.
I don't know if that's how I would describe
we
it.
can
More
address
like
that
the-
later. But as the conversations came to a close, there sounded like somebody frantically ringing a bell, like a handbell, out in the city. To which Sinfori seemed to recognize what this call meant and left the room, and that you were all welcome to follow her. And I did not know what choice Tyr would make because he had just learned to go to the annex, seek out Matrix and Eartham. Perhaps there was a
He would have
problem.
followed her to the bell for now.
Okay. So it was a very short interaction. Everyone got to see the, yeah, you guys got to see the Valkyrum land, which are
Oh.
the group of 7 women of varying different races, such as, there's one that's a halfling, the elf, the tiefling, the human, etc. Only one of them was speaking, named Pax. And that it seemed that this was the particular group of individuals that Sinfori had dispatched to search for the missing soldiers, at the very least, that were accompanying, as Tyrrell knows, were accompanying the caravan carrying Gage Nova, but that they returned empty-handed with they couldn't find anything.
Okay.
And that she told them to get some rest because she's certain that their wings are tired. They've been going about for several days, if not weeks at this point. Can't really tell. And that they, again, without a word, without even anything, immediately stood up, saluted, turned on their heels, and just walked right past every single one of you without even so much as a glance, whisper, or nothing. You did not exist to them.
Yeah.
And proceeded into the Black Keep, which then Sinfori said that she had to go speak to the captain of the guard, and proceeded off to the military ring, leaving you all to your own devices as Elbrig went off into the merchant's ring. Nomad went back to the room. Misted, I don't know, exploded into a ball of fluff. I don't know what Misted's doing today. We didn't get that far. So,
All right.
here we are.
After all of that, then I would start heading towards the annex.
All right, have you been to the annex before?
Nope.
Do you know how to get there?
Probably not.
Okay. So you have no idea where you're going.
Yep. I'm just 1 foot at a time, man. I'm gonna get there. Might take me a while to get there.
Well, just wandering about, you never find it.
Oh damn. Well. What if I wander about for 2 days?
You will never find it.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll ask for directions when I find someone.
Alright, easy enough. There's Blood Onyx and Nightfang all around.
I'll ask a blood onyx.
Easy enough. He nods, directs you to one of the Nightfang, who then leads you into what looks to be a small cut-off library, and opens up what looks to be a door really well hidden towards the back. And it is locked. So he has to perform a certain method to unlock the door and open it. He then leads you down a spiraling stone staircase, tight spiral by the way, until you reach a landing where there is a individual wearing a tunic / robes that looks to be perhaps a guard of some kind, but does not look to be Blood Onyx or Nightfang, who then recognizes the sash and the fact that you're like the third fucking person to be guided down here by the Nightfang, and just kind of rolls his eyes, offers you a torch, and just holds it out to you.
I would take the torch.
This makes him happy. And as you descend down, it is pure darkness. And as you finally continue down this spiraling stone staircase, you eventually reach what looks to be possibly the bottom floor. You reach a landing, and there is a singular door at the end of this landing, to which the Nightfang walks up, opens it up, and motions for you to go in.
I would do so.
Alright. And as you go in, you see that this entire room is massive, sprawling. It might go on for like a mile or two, possibly more. But it is floor to ceiling, probably about 20 feet up or so, of just bookshelves, display cases, scrolls, books, notes, ancient artifacts, like armor, weaponry, strange objects and stones and whatnot, just materials, necklaces, just scattered everywhere. Organized, but everywhere. And going down the middle, there's a bunch of tables lined end to end. There's a box, excuse me, looks to be a box at the end of each one of these bookshelf like corridors. And yeah, this thing just stretches on.
Hmm.
Welcome to the annex.
Oh boy.
And as you say that, it literally just echoes back, "Oh boy."
Oh boy.
Careful, Disney might be listening.
They're always looking.
Disney can suck my mouse penis.
Anyways,
They're sending them.
Disney, if you are listening, I meant what I said.
please
I
don't.
do not apologize.
I do not condone this action, nor does he speak for me.
I was never here.
Yeah, no, I don't speak for the streamer.
He speaks for everyone else, though, just
Oh,
not the
good.
streamer.
I was never here.
But as you step further into the annex, you hear the sound of snoring.
I go to the sound of snoring.
All right, and you see there, with feet propped up on one of the nearby columns, you see Madras sitting in a chair with Eartha on the other side of this. There is no other way to describe it than just gargantuan stone and metal door.
Hmm.
And he's just got feet propped up, leaned back in the chair, snoozing away. Eartham is still full alert, full armor, glaive in hand, just standing guard. And we will get back to this interaction in about 5 minutes, because it is time for me to give little man some medicine.
All right.
All right. So, last order of business for the night. Tyrrell, you now see Madris and Eartham standing in front of a giant door. What would you like to do?
Up, say hi to Eartham, and just simply ask. I was told one of you, and I'm not gonna, you know, pretty much discriminate against anyone here. Someone is very good with getting rid of curses.
Is he really quiet for anybody else?
Yeah, he sounds a little bit quiet.
Hold on.
Bloop. Bloop. There it is.
Less so?
Less so.
Okay, so it's better.
Yes.
I just walk up to him, Eartham, say hi, yada yada. Pretty much tell him I'm not trying to discriminate against anyone, not gonna assume. But one of you is really good at getting rid of curses. I need help from that one.
And Eartham just looks over at Madris, who is still out cold. And he just.
Is he volatile when woken?
And he just flips his glaive over so that the actual staff end is out and just smacks the back of the chair and tips it over. You see Majors just fall to the floor. I'm up. I'm up. What did I miss? What's going on? Oh, hey, what's up?
I feel better already knowing you guys.
And Eartham just looks at him. He needs a curse removed. Majors just looks up and he needs what part of himself removed?
A curse.
Majors just. Oh. Well, I can't help you with that. That'd be a big guy over there. And Eartham just. I know. I need you to watch the door. Majors just. I was watching it. You were asleep. I was feigning weakness. You fell out of the chair. You knocked the chair over. Just watch the door. And Eartham just walks up to you. All right. Have you been in contact recently with anyone that shares hexes, boils, or any other kind of damaging cursed attire or illness?
Okay, so I'm a special breed of stupid most times, and I'm in a bit of a pickle.
I noticed.
So the first issue, and I'd hold up in my non-crispy arm, is the sword. And I'll be like, this is the main curse I'm having an issue with.
He just stops and looks at you. Are you telling me there's more than one?
Well, the other one, I was told functions like a curse. I'm not so much sure if it is one, isn't one, if it can be removed. I'm not sure. I don't want it removed, but. And I just kind of look at my arm and. Well, I put the sword back for a second and just unwrap a little bit and show him what it actually looks like under the bandages.
You just hear me just go, gross.
If we want, I can demonstrate what it does on him.
You see Eartham just crack a smile. Oh, I would love to see that, but. You see her, you know I'm right here, right? Yes.
And anyway, I want to try to get the sword issue so I can at least let go of it.
And you see him
And I want.
sit there and look at you. Have you ever had a curse removed?
can't say that I have.
You can't just pick one. It's all or nothing.
So there's no real way to know
No.
if.
He doesn't even give you the chance.
No.
Oh, God. Okay, so before getting myself wholly cleansed, I guess the first issue should be figuring out whether what's on my arm is actually considered a curse or not.
If it stays, it's not a curse. If it goes, it is.
Yeah, that checks out.
And then you see Majors lean over. Well, what we could do, we could cut your arm off, remove curses on the rest of you, and then maybe find a way to reattach the arm. Hopefully.
As fun as that sounds, I think the biggest issue I have with that is possibly the maybe part. I tend to need that appendage.
Yeah, you've done fine just this far without it.
You don't even know what I do you?
He just looks at you. I'm pretty well aware.
Okay. I guess I should probably figure out first whether these are actually affected by such thing, and then go from there, since it can't be isolated on the sword.
And Eartham just looks at you. You want to stay cursed.
The curses that lie within my arm, whether they are considered curses or not, I'm not entirely sure, aren't necessarily so bad.
Oh no, he's cursed with stupidity.
That is a long-lasting curse that not even he can lift.
Sad but true.
He's just looking at your fucking right arm. He's just. So let me get this straight. You want me to remove your curse. However, you don't want me to remove your curse. And he just stops, thinks on it for a minute, and just. If I remove the curse that allows you to break this bond with this weapon, would you remain unbonded to it, or would you just go back and reattune to it, reclaim this curse?
At this moment, I really don't know how to answer that.
It's a simple yes or no.
My intentions were to continue using the sword. The issue I cross is I need to visit Pelatora's Grove, but I cannot do so armed. And I can't seem to let go of the frickin' sword. It won't let me.
And then you just see him look over at Madras, and Madras is just like, pulls at his rapier a little bit and just, huh? Chop chop? Huh? Huh? Arthur's just standing there staring at you. He's waiting.
Waiting for what?
Waiting for your actual answer. Yes or no?
Yes, I plan to attune to this again.
You see him just turn around and go back in front of the door and props himself back up. I'm not wasting my magic on someone who's just going to turn around and become cursed again.
That's fair, and I understand that. But the issue is that as dumb as it can sound, this curse is useful. Granted, I don't want to be cursed this entire time. I eventually will find a way to hopefully get rid of whatever's in the goddamn ruby and try to keep the magical properties of said sword.
He just looks at you. You truly are unfathomably thick.
It really is a gift and a curse.
So
Like
I
a
can
bowl
see.
of oatmeal, but not in a good way.
If you had said something, I didn't hear it because of the oatmeal.
Yeah, he's just gonna look at you. Do you want the curse removed or not?
I want it removed from the blade so I can let go of it to go to the garden where she will hopefully appear, since I'm not carrying something that no one wants to touch for whatever reason.
He just looks at you and it's all or nothing.
Okay,
And he
tell you what,
sits up and just crosses his arms.
that's fair. We're in the biggest place of knowledge in the world. Tell you what, I'm gonna go do some research real quick. Well, maybe I could find the answer I'm looking for and make this very simple. I'll be back.
You see Mage just look at you. What answer could you possibly need? You came here looking to have a curse removed. What answer are you looking for?
Whether the thing on my arm is actually a curse or not.
And he just come here. Just come here.
Are you gonna cut my arm off?
He just sits for a moment. Tempting.
Oh,
Tempting.
I look at Eartham and just see if he has any sort of tell about this.
Expressionless.
Ah. Okay, I go over to him.
He's just like, so, all you need to do is let go of the sword, right?
Yes.
That's all you need to do.
Yes.
And you can't let go of the sword.
Yes. Anytime someone tries to take it, I just can't let it leave.
Hmm. You see him just think for a moment, look at you, and look at the sword. Can you be disarmed?
Huh?
Can you be disarmed?
I would assume so. Never really had it happen.
It's the first time for everything.
As he says this, I'm gonna start thinking back to when Oris, nearly killed me. Did I let go of the sword at any point?
You can't remember. You just remember
Okay.
her stabbing you 4 times and you hitting the ground.
I'll just tell him that, the last thing, I'll even bring it up and be like, well, the only time I would know that I could possibly have let go of the sword is when Oris happened to have stabbed me 4 times and I hit the ground. But I don't remember anything, so I really don't know if I let go of it.
He just nods. Okay. Okay. And if we could just take the blade from you, that'll be it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll come back for it once I have finished my business and I'm no longer carrying a weapon that doesn't seem to lets me let it go. So, yeah.
He just sits there and thinks on it. Thinks on it. I tell you what. I have this really neat trick. Right?
Yeah.
And you see him pull his sword out, and it's also a rapier.
Hmm.
Well, you see, this thing in my hand, obviously, it's a weapon. Yeah, you can tell. But with the right method, this can do a lot more than just kill someone. And he sort of just keeps like slowly like waving the sword in front of your face. You want to know the trick to it?
Sure.
And he's like, right here, and he holds his hand up so you can see the actual grip of this rapier.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, well, right here, it's really neat. You see, there's this particular part of the guard, and flicks his fingers out, and you just see what looks to be like rose petals just come flying into your face.
Hmm.
So how much health do you have?
I'm at full, and in total, I have. Give me a second. I want to say it is 58 max HP.
58.
Yep.
All right. So that's 60. Okay. As these rose petals just fly at your face, you suddenly
Mm-hmm.
just begin to feel kind of woozy and just a little bit dopey.
Mm.
And then you just feel yourself go heavy and you just drop to the ground unconscious.
Mm.
A few moments to you pass, and you are suddenly slapped awake as Major's just sitting there just slapping you.
Yeah.
you are just on the ground. And Eartham, from a distance, has the sword in his hand. And just gently places it on the ground next to him. Well, more like behind his thigh.
Yeah.
I need you to roll a wisdom save.
Oh, fuck. 8.
You go for the sword.
Oh, no.
All right.
How much do I get thwacked with?
Oh, don't worry. Because he gets 2 hits on you.
Oh, fuck.
You literally close probably about a 15-foot distance between you and him, and May just literally lets you get up, and he just dash forward. And May just puts his hands up like, oh, we tried. And you go to reach for the sword and try to take it back. And it's just, you feel yourself doing this, and in your head, it's mine. Give it back. It's mine. And as you go for the sword, that glaive comes down.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I'm waiting for the nice
That
thwack.
is a 19 to hit.
Okay.
Which is 15 points of damage.
Okay.
And then he sweeps the other end back up and brings it down again. That's only a 14 to hit.
14 does not hit.
All right, and you just feeling that first hit just connect. You're like, and then the second one you just whack. You're like, ah! And do a little like tuck roll out right to the side.
Yep.
And he just puts his leg fully in front of it and just kind of like squats down in front of the sword. So now it's just you and the wall of Eartham.
Yeah, okay, I deserve that one. Fucking hell, but yeah, that's fair.
What would you like to try and do?
Resist the sword's pull?
All right, give another wisdom saving throw.
These are my favoriteest things. Oh, God. Yeah, it's 4. I accidentally hit it again trying to clear it.
Mm-hmm. So you're just gonna go for it again, or are you gonna try to attack? Because it's literally, he's standing, like, he's pretty much leaning against the sword.
I'd try to go for it again. Not gonna attack him over it, but try to go for it.
Alright. That is a 10 to hit, doesn't hit. And a 27 to hit.
Jesus Christ. Nope, doesn't it? Sorry.
For 11 damage. Anything else? You gonna try and resist again? Okay, you sounded like really far off this time.
17.
Okay. You begin to resist the pull of the weapon. But it's not quite there yet. You just succeed on one more. It is a DC 15.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll another wisdom save. Because you're the best at these. I believe in you. Hey! That's all it took was just the last 2 whacks. And you see, just and you're still there, and Eartham just not taking any chances, just brings the glaive back up again and swings down.
He brings it back up. I immediately just hands up. No, no, no. It's fine. I'm good.
He gets this weirdly weird smile on his face, and you see the glaive just pulse a little bit, and what sounds like crackling thunder. And he just gets this grin and swings it down one good time.
You fucker.
So, that is 16 to hit.
Small armor class.
Okay.
Is there any sort of element to this?
14 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And 12 points of thunder damage.
Okay. On that, I will use absorb element on the thunder damage.
Okay.
I won't forget about its existence this time. Like I do every other fucking time.
Alright, and I need you to roll a strength saving throw.
Hold on a sec.
As he brings it down one last time, and he's not going exactly for the blade, he's going full handle to head.
Oh, fuck you. So, I'm not exactly sure how much I absorb when I use absorb element. Is it what I roll?
Let me double check on that.
Resistance. So half damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how much did I take in total then?
6.
And it was 12 points of slashing?
It was... Shit.
Hmm?
Oh, no, it was 12 points of thunder damage reduced down to 6.
Mhm.
I honestly...
Wasn't there also slashing damage in that?
Yeah, I just don't remember exactly what it was.
How about I just go 18 points? 12 and 12 reduced to 6. 12 from slashing and then 12 reduced to 6.
Okay.
Or I can make it a nice even 20. I mean, I survive either way. I don't remember
Yeah.
what it was off the top of my head.
But
And
yeah.
you said a strength thing.
Strength saving throw.
Oh boy, I'm good at these. 14.
You are shoved 10 feet backwards and fall prone. As he connects, and you see him just kind of hook one of your horns, and then just you hear that thunderous boom, and just launches you across the room, and you just skid to a halt, and just oh. Which would actually be bludgeoning damage, not slashing, because he bonked your ass. But yeah, that was Thundering Smite.
I just lay there for a minute.
You see Mages just walk over to you. I don't think you killed him. I could try again.
I just grabbed the horn he hooked. It's like, son of a bitch. And I do that thing where I'm not fully getting up. I just sit back on kind of like the haunches of my elbows. And just go, was that really necessary?
No, but I enjoyed it.
You knew I wasn't going for it that time. I saw that smirk. Ow. Fuck, it hurts.
It's dismissible in court.
Excuse me?
Hearsay.
Motherfucker. You know what? Okay, fair. I deserved it. Now, when I return for the sword, you don't plan on doing that again, right?
I might.
Can we make a deal that if the gnome is asleep in the chair, we do it to him?
You see May just look over. I'm a halfling, you fuck. Hit him again.
My bad.
You see Eartham just step up, and that thing just flares to life again.
Nope. I'm dashing before he gets the chance.
You still gotta get up and move half your movement speed to get up.
Fuck this.
Alright. So you just leave the sword behind.
And limp my way out of there.
Just big ass knot on the top of your head.
In the words of a person, play stupid games.
Win stupid prizes. I mean,
yes, but
you
joke's
had
on
the
you, because
nice
I
option
think-
of him just using remove curse.
Mhm.
And as you get up to go and try to run, you just hear May just go, should we tell him about banishment? No. Yeah, you're right. It's more fun this way.
As I'm sitting there looking at my wound. The only thing that's playing in my head is I'm going to stab that fucker who said this was a good idea.
Which one?
The one I paid a gold piece for.
It's not his fault you didn't want to let go of it or get the remove curse done.
He's the one who told me this was the best option.
It is.
No. Anyway, I gimp my way out of there. And
Okay.
start heading towards where the grove was last. I last saw the grove.
All right. And I think that's where we're gonna pick up next session. It's just
I'm
Tyrell just
down again.
limping through the entire city of Abcassis, just ow, 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 fuckers.
Mm-mm. It gets worse because there's those times where like the ground is uneven. And I just go down a little too hard and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, bash into a little bit of a low hanging sign.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that was so great. Just be glad he didn't have banishing smite.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I can absorb that one.
Nope.
I can absorb it with my face, I guess.
Yeah. Or with your head and horn.
I'm surprised my horns have not broken yet.
Me too. Which, granted, they're bone, but pretty dense bone too,
I'm a dense motherfucker. What can I say?
right? But we will
Nice.
pick up next week. The wife will not be available at all next week. She closes that Friday. But the following weeks, she's supposed to be available. Probably like she was available today. But, yeah. Well, now you have someone that you can, spar out with that's not going to straight up kill you.
Yeah.
Two
Maybe
people,
I'll learn from
actually.
him. No, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna challenge Oris and him at the same time.
So, how many pine boxes do we need to get for Tyrrell?
Depends how many hits
You know
I
what?
get.
Actually, no. Correction. All you need is a little urn.
Yeah, I was about to say I just need an urn because I'm gonna get incinerated before anything.
Mm. Oh yeah.